I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving.
Yo, what is up? It is Needs Me is Keen. We're back. We're in the building for another episode of the 7200 Second Podcast. My guy, Coach Donte, is always in the building, y'all. But we are not alone today. But, Coach, how are you today, man?
I'm ready, man. Jam-packed show today. Let's get going. Let's get my guys up in here, man. I can't be more goddamn excited. Let's get it,
y'all know, y'all see these two in the comments all the time, but they're on the 7200 Seconds podcast for the first time. My guy, Mo Betta is here. Mo.
Wow, look at it. I made it. I'm on 7200 seconds with my people.
Yeah. Got my boy Mo in the building. Yeah.
And as always, welcome to 72 Mo. You're always in the chat. Had to get you on here because, you know, you're another knowledgeable guy that I know. So we had to get you on here. But we also got Cool McCain in the building.
Oh, you getting the band back together.
No! What up?
What's up? Cool. What's up? Wow.
Hey, man, what up, Coach? What up, kid?
What's good?
So we got a
jam-packed show
like that, you guys.
And we ain't rocking today. That's what I do know.
Some NBA, some NFL, and we got some college topics to go over. The jam-packed show. Coach is not going to be here with us for all the show. He has to get with some prior engagements with, you know, him and football and his little cousins always supporting they football journeys. So Coach ain't going to be here too much today. But before he
can hold it down.
He got something to say, and we're going to let him have the floor, and he's going to talk about one Mr. Josh McDaniels and them Raiders. So
this is why I'm glad my boy Mo and Cool on, so they can hear me and all the Raiders fans hear me when I'm about to say, because when I'm about to say, the Raiders fan base is not going to like it. And my boy, shout out to my guy Ern, who been telling these people about goddamn Josh McDaniels. So if you don't mind, Key, give me that front screen right quick, if you don't mind, because I got a lot of things to tell about this damn Raiders organization. A lot of things. We talked about it a lot in the offseason, how bad they were going to be. We did talk about it a lot. But Josh McDaniels, you know, has been hiding on side of, Bill Belichick for so long. He finally gets the Denver job, and he starts off really good, 5-0. And next thing you know, he shits the bed. But this Raiders organization,
2-pack of ass.
This is the Raiders organization. Right now. That's the Raiders organization. That's how bad they've been for so long. I mean, the closest they got to a Super Bowl, which Rich Gannon was probably Gannon. That was the closest. They got blown out against Tampa Bay versus that man, John Gruden, that they did hire. The very next closest, Derek Carr broke his leg. You could make an argument that Derek Carr broke his leg. They would have, that was his MVP season. But other than that, what have the Raiders done since then? Not too much of nothing. Their defense has been ranked at the bottom for so many years. They wanted to blame it on Derek Carr. Derek Carr's in New Orleans, being inconsistent. Same Derek Carr what he saw with the Raiders. That's not going on too well. But the thing where it all started, John Gruden, you end up with Antonio Brown. You end up with him. Now you have to go with the helmet issue, with the foot issue. Then you had to worry about Henry Ruggs getting in trouble, not calling an Uber, killing someone. Now you had trouble with him. You had Darren Waller, who checked out early on him, who didn't want to be a Las Vegas Raider. And now you go through with John Gruden with the emails. But what happens right after that? You got a certain type of coach, a special teams coach. Rich Bisaccia comes in, change the dynamic of that team, that organization. Through all that crap that they went through, they still made the playoffs. And Rich Bisaccia, the players, the organization, respected him. But you thinking he's going to be interviewed for a possibility head coaching gig. Nope, he ain't head coaching material. So now you move on with him. You get Josh McDaniel. How the first year go? Not so good, not so great. Not so great. Davante Adams comes in thinking he's about to play with his best friend, Derek Carr, since Fresno State. You shipped him up out of that. Davante Adams now goes on a Instagram and Twitter rampage. And the team is not so good. Now, this is what Jimmy G comes in at. Jimmy G deserved every bit of that bench that he deserved. You sit there and you hold that goddamn clipboard, because you know why? Jimmy G is not that good of a quarterback. Jimmy G is not a good quarterback. You know why? That's how good San Francisco was. That shows you that's how good San Francisco was. That's how good that goddamn defense was. The moment they make it to the Super Bowl, I know my boy Mo remember this. We want to bring up goddamn Kyle Shanahan. How about that damn open pass that he missed? To almost win the Super Bowl. How about that pass that he missed? You know what? You come back in next year, you win 3 in a row versus the Rams. But you know what that 49ers defense did against the Packers? That special teams won them that game. That defense won them the game. Now, Jimmy Garoppolo didn't win them the game. That special teams and that defense won them the game. You know what he did against Los Angeles when they needed to go to the Super Bowl? He threw 2 interceptions. He barely got past the Cowboys. You know who won that game? That defense won them that. That defense won them that game. Now, the very next year, that was the year that he was out. He gets hurt early. You knew the team wasn't going to bring you back. You knew he wasn't going to be back. So what you do? You get hurt. You should have had surgery then. You would have been ready for a training camp. You decide you almost had to fail a physical. You almost failed a physical. That's how bad it got. Now you're getting a fresh start. You stink it up against Pittsburgh, where you was the reason why you lost the game. And Josh Jacobs comes out. That guy comes out and say he's tired of goddamn losing. Max Crosby goes on Instagram and say that this crowd deserves better. And we know Max Crosby a great goddamn football player. Who else is on that damn defensive line that can disrupt the quarterback and stop the run outside of Max Crosby? How is Tyreek Wilson looking right now? Tyreek Wilson only has 1 goddamn sack throughout the whole year, and that was against a bearless Chicago Bears team. He only has 1 sack throughout the whole damn year. So Max Crosby is the only one that can wreak havoc on that defensive line. Now we go to Davante Adams. The last straw was last night. Davante Adams is running wide open. Now, how the hell you throw a ball 10 yards over the goddamn man's head when he's open? He's clearly wide open, and the ball goes 10 yards over the wide receiver, over Davante Adams' head. I would throw my helmet and be pissed off too. I would do the same thing too. The first play, he throws in the double coverage to Davante Adams, and it gets picked off. That's how bad the Raiders organization has been. Jimmy Garoppolo deserved every bit of him being benched. 9 interceptions to only 7 touchdowns. The running game has not been so well. Now, if I was the Ravens, I would have took that 2nd-round pick and got Josh Jacobs up out of that organization, because the Ravens need a running back. I don't think Gus Edwards gets it done at the long term. But other than that, this Raiders organization stinks. They need to get the right head coach up in there. They need to get the right management up in the management office. But it clearly seems that Josh McDaniels, this should be his last head coaching gig. He could not get it done in Denver. He cannot get it done the 2 years that he did get in Las Vegas. And it's good that damn Al Davis put his big boy goddamn draws on and fired the man. Josh McDummy, we can't call him Josh McDummy. I'm going to call him Josh McDumbass. That's what I'm going to call him, because that's what he's been as a coach at his whole coaching career. And he's been an absolute joke. And this Raiders organization will be an absolute joke until they get the right coach, the right guys in the goddamn front office. But if I'm Davante Adams, hell yeah, I would be mad if I got the ball thrown 10 yards over my head and I'm wide open. That's all I got to say about the Raiders. Let's finish this show off.
Lord have mercy, coach is sounding off at the very beginning, calling out the Raiders. Whoo, it is hot. Y'all got anything to add to that? Even though that was going to be a topic later on in the show, but since we're talking about it, let's talk about it. Josh McDaniels gets fired today in the wee hours of the nighttime. Mark Davis finally put his foot down, fired not only the GM and the offensive coordinator. The Raiders is cleaning house. Mo, your thoughts on the Raiders? What is going on in this dysfunctional organization?
Well, the firing to me is long overdue. Josh McDaniels has proven opportunity after opportunity. He's not head coaching material. He's not a head coach. He's a coordinator. He's not a leader of man. He's the kind of guy that's a follower and can help you in certain aspects. But to be honest, I think Mark Davis, he don't have clean hands either. He's the owner, but he signed off on these things. So he's just as culpable as Josh McDaniels and the general manager. I like the fact that they finally realized this isn't going nowhere. This isn't working. Look at the roster top to bottom. They actually have some playmakers on both sides of the football, but what they don't have is leadership from the front office and the general manager.
Cool.
Mark Davis, trace. All the coaches, trace. Okay. They did the right thing by firing who they fired. More people's head needs to roll. This organization has been embarrassing, horrible, and terrible, and something needs to be done about it. If Mark Davis can't do any better than this, Mark Davis, maybe you need to throw that team up for sale because you clearly don't know how to run an NFL organization. We don't need another Jerry Jones just running around grandstanding, hiring whoever, whatever, for whatever reason. Why did Josh McDaniels even get a second year to do this job? This man was trash juice, garbage pail trash his first season. He was garbage pail trash the last time he was head coach. What made you think he was going to turn it around this year? Jimmy Garoppolo? No Darren Waller? Are we really serious? Finally, somebody got in this man's ear, and whatever they needed to do, congratulations. I'm going to give you a hand clap for finally doing what you should have did this offseason. Now try to get back to where you need to be. Do better next time.
So now they got Antonio Pierce. We all know Antonio Pierce played for the Giants, lineman for the Giants. How do you think the team is going to play for Antonio Pierce now?
I think they'll rally around him. I really do. Look, he's a football guy. I think they'll rally around him. Look, it's not a very good team, but I like the idea that they're going to go ahead and start the young quarterback. This is a team that needs to get an identity. They need to start their rebuild, right? They've got a couple of playmakers, but they need to start their rebuild. I think the first step is you have to find out what you have on your roster to let you know what you need to look for going into the next offseason. My only question is, because Davante Adams is where he is in his career, is he part of your future? Because you are going to have to develop a young quarterback, or do you need to realize that you can move on from him, maybe get some assets back in return, and it's a win-win? Because Davante Adams, he should go somewhere to a contender where he belongs, competing for championships, and they can get back a pick or two to help with their rebuild. I just don't think, looking at him, that he's part of their future.
That would be cheating. Cool, but hey. Cool, what do you think about Antonio Pierce? You think the team's going to rally around Antonio Pierce knowing that the cancer's gone?
If me, you, Mo, or Coach Donte was coaching that team, they would rally around us because Josh McDaniels is Josh McTrashton. That's how bad he is. So now that you've got somebody that actually understands the concepts of football, somebody that is a motivator of men, somebody that's been in the trenches before, so understands how football is played, they're going to be better automatically. We saw this happen before. We saw this happen when the last coach got let go. But the difference is, are they going to have enough sense if Antonio Pierce does well with this to say, you know what, he has done a good job, let's at least interview. I'm not saying you have to automatically hire him, but at least allow him to be a part of that process. Do they have sense enough for that? That's what we're going to find out after the season. Or is Mark Davis still high and drunk off the whiskey and whatever else? That's what we need to find out.
He's still drunk off them championships. He can only win with the Aces and not his own dang on football team. But anyway, Coach, your thoughts on Antonio Pierce getting an opportunity maybe to coach somewhere else or be permanently coach for the Raiders?
Well, like Cool McCain said, like I said with Rich Fasaccia, if you're not going to hire him as a head coach, he deserves some consideration for an interview for that team. Just making the playoffs, do what they had to go through with the emails and Henry Ruggs for that guy to still get them to a playoff. He deserves some type of consideration of being a head coach. You don't have to hire these guys, but he did. The players respected the guy. The organization respected the guy. That should tell you some how good the guy was, how good the guy was. He may not have been good at X's and O's, guys. That's why you go out there and get an offensive coordinator and stuff like that. But he was a motivator and the leader of men, just like Dan Campbell is. He's not an X's and O guy. He's just a leader of those guys, and those guys for the Lions played for him. That's why you got Ben Johnson as your offensive coordinator, or the guy that should be a head coach. He's going to be a head coach one day in the NFL. What if it's next year? Ben Johnson will be considered as being a head coaching candidate, just like he was this coming off season. But other than that, I just think you let some pieces go. You let some pieces and go contend. You let Josh Jacobs go and contend for a title. You let Devontae Adams go and contend for a title. Hell, I would not be mad if you can let Max Crosby go contend. You just tear those three, let those three guys go. They deserve better, and you just rebuild. You just rebuild, and you did a great job by starting Aiden O'Connell. You want to see if you got a quarterback. You want to see if you got a quarterback. That's one thing you want to have in place. If you don't have nothing else, you can just say, hey, I got the quarterback. And it's their job to go throughout the offseason and to the draft to put the guys around the quarterback. If you don't have anything else, not on the defensive side of the ball or on the offensive side of the ball, you're gonna have that quarterback. You're gonna have the quarterback that you can lean on. So I think the Raiders need to just let those three go, let those do right by those three, let them contend and just rebuild. Tyree Wilson, he ain't doing nothing. He seemed to be the wrong pick right now. Not saying in the near future, but he seems to be the wrong pick right now. But other than that, you just let three of those players go. You figure out your first move in all seasons, figure out what your head coach and your GM gonna be. That's your first deal. You get those two in the building, now everything else come in place.
Hopefully the Raiders can find somebody competent, not incompetent, in the front office to get the right picks going. A lot of Raider Nation is like, oh, we passed up on Jalen Carter and got Tyree Wilson. Ernst said that best. He's like, we should have got Jalen Carter. But hopefully they can find the right people with the Raiders, because it's going to be a rebuild year. There is no more competing for champion. No, they're going to be rebuilding for a while. Jimmy G ain't the answer. See what you got in your rookie. They had opportunities to move up to get Anthony Richardson. They didn't bite on it. So I don't know what y'all doing. But y'all gonna keep Devontae Adams hostage, knowing the deadline was yesterday. Come on now, keeping that man hostage.
That was the last straw. I think it was some trade talks and consideration with Devontae Adams. They should have just went on and pulled the trigger. That last night was the last straw. If the ball is 10 yards over my head and I'm wide open, literally wide open, why is the ball going 10 yards over my damn head? I would throw my helmet and be frustrated too and kick everybody on the sideline. I kick everybody on the damn sideline if that ball. I would be frustrated too, just like Devontae Adams. I'll be frustrated too.
But Coach, I know you only got a short period to stay here, but break out your list. Who was on your list for this week?
Well, I avoided putting some people on now because it's players that can make it every single time. Literally, it's players that can make. But I did put one player that can make it every single time. I may not put him on here for a little bit more while because he could do it every single time. My number 5 player is Nikola Jokic. Man, this dude is a walking triple-double. He can be on here every time. Sometimes I can avoid. It's going to be Caitlin Clark. She's going to be avoided putting on. Those times I didn't put up on last night. That's the type of girl that can make it every single time on the list. Nikola Jokic, 27 points, 11 assists, and 10 rebounds. Nikola Jokic, my boy Cool bringing out the Denver hat right there. Number 4, this guy, Cam Thomas from Brooklyn. If y'all ain't seen this guy play, this guy can score, man. This guy can score now. He should have got a lot of minutes last year. He should have got more minutes last year. He didn't get more minutes. Now he's a starter. This man scoring over 30 points in each and every basketball game. This man can put the ball on the floor. He can create. He makes some of the most difficult shots in this league. Y'all haven't watched the Brooklyn Nets? Go watch Cam Thomas, man. This dude can score the basketball. And you know he can score because look at Cool McCain's face and Mo's face. You know that dude can put the ball in the basket. 33 points. Yeah, Jalen Waddle. Versus the New England Patriots. 7 receptions, 121 yards, 1 touchdown. Jalen Waddle. Then you have Steph Curry at number 2, 42 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds. And then the number 1 is A.J. Brown. Of course, A.J. Brown just chewing up the Commanders. I mean, he chewing up everybody he play against. And I'm glad he's gone. I'm glad he's gone on my division. I think the Eagles were putting him in my division, first of all, so I don't have to deal with that. And that's the NFC side to deal with him and the NFC East side to deal with him. So A.J. Brown, 8 catches, 130 yards, and 2 touchdowns. This man caught that one-handed catch. I mean, hey, that dude, that's just unstoppable. Ain't nothing you can do about that. Great defense, but can't do nothing about better offense, man. It's hard to guard better offense. So that is the top 5 coaches list this week.
A.J. Brown.
Hey, Coach.
Number 1 on the coaches list.
That play was even more clean in person.
Yeah.
I was at the game.
I
That man did it at the game. We were like,
Wow.
bruh, crazy.
A couple headlines before we get down into the real nitty gritty thing. Desmond Ritter gets benched. It's about time, Atlanta. I don't know what y'all was waiting on. So Taylor Heineke will get the start there. Of course, Jimmy D gets benched for Aiden O'Connell. Kirk Cousins, his surgery was successful. Kurt is out for the season due to an Achilles tear. Kurt was balling, but we're going to get more depth into that as well. Josh Allen did not play because of his shoulder. The London game, that's going to be first game, 9:30 game on Sunday. Got to wake up early to watch some football because they're in Germany, not London, they're in Germany. And then Holland clears protocol, so he'll be back with Miami. Will Levis will get his second start. I'm excited to see what he does. You know, he had a great game against Atlanta. 4 tubs, his rookie debut, and also Deshaun Watson is practicing. So hopefully we get to see Deshaun Watson but the money that the Browns spent for him to play. Breaking down yesterday's trades, Washington is clearing house. Montez Sweat went to Chicago, and Mo got Chase Young. He's a 49ers fan. So Mo, your thoughts on getting Chase Young to that offensive line?
That gives Bosa another guy that can go hunt. It makes it more difficult to track Bosa and double team him. Also, Trace Young is physically strong enough to where he can actually play in the middle as well. So it gives them more versatility. I think the defense has been a little bit stagnant. I think this is going to breathe some energy into them. When the front seven is dominant, the secondary is solid. So it's a big move.
All right, so we had Montez. We had another big move. We had, of course, Montez Sweat went to Chicago. I know he probably was like, oh, no, why am I going here? But it helps out Chicago's defensive line. Also, Rasul Douglas, he went to the Bills. So Green Bay lost their ball hawk in the secondary. He went to the Bills. What's going on, Donte? Appreciate you. Trying to see who else moved. Everybody was waiting to see what Howie did. He didn't do anything, but he did it before the deadline. He got Kevin Byard. Who else was on the move yesterday? The Jags got beefed up their line a little bit more. Jalen Johnson, they was trying to trade in Chicago, but he stays put. Who else moved? Somebody else moved. Like that was a big name. I think there was the 2 big names really that went down. But who did not win in the trade? What team did not win in the trading deadline? Who should have done something? Cool, let me start with you.
If I put to a team that needed to make a move, it would be one that E-Money Bentley is talking about over here in the comments. The Cowgirls that suck. The Cowgirls clearly are not on the top level, right? They've already been manhandled, violated, dominated, and eviscerated by the 49ers. So you understand that you're not at their top level. And let's be clear, the 49ers do have 3 losses. It is what it is, but they're better than most, if not all, the teams in the NFC. And I'm an NFC team when I say that. So what I want the Cowboys to understand is if you're not going to go out and fill the holes that you have, if you're not going to go out, you needed to do something in the running back market. Whatever you needed, you should have threw whatever they wanted at Josh Jacobs to try to get Jacobs because you don't have a every down running back in Dallas. You need help at the linebacker position. You didn't address your needs. So I want you to understand that what's coming for you Sunday is a team that addressed their needs the best that they could while you didn't. So when you see what happened Sunday, just remember, you're not playing the 49ers again. You're playing the Eagles, but I believe it's going to be the same outcome. And one other thing I have to say real quick. What's up, Victor?
Also, Leonard Williams went to Seattle. I forgot about that. That was another big one.
That was a big move. Seattle's going to be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But is anybody else besides the Cowboys?
Yeah, I say the Ravens. I should have. I would have gave up that second round pick for Josh Jacobs. The way Josh Jacobs balling, I would have did that. I would have did it with him and Lamar Jackson in the backfield. How you can stop that? How the hell you can stop that with those two in the same backfield together? I would have gave up that second round pick immediately. I would have said my Houston Texans, but with a lot of money in cap space, we can get anybody that we want in free agency out of those guys. So I would have said them. So it was the right move to wait to the off season to get anybody that we want. We could afford all those guys that was traded in the off season, and we never know. Chase Young maybe ended up a 1-year rental with 8-game rental with the 49ers, but I think the 49ers also gave some cap space to re-sign some of those guys too, so that could be pretty dangerous. But I think the Ravens, I would have gave up that 2nd-round pick for Josh Jacobs. The way that guy looked last year and looked in the Lions game, had that 7-play carry drive and that touchdown, they gave him that touchdown. Yeah, I would have did that if I was the Ravens. I would have did that.
Mo, any other team who was losers at the deadline?
So I would have went with Cool. I think Dallas really should have pursued Josh Jacobs, maybe even a Derrick Henry. They need a physical back that can carry the ball 25, 30 times a game. They don't have that on that roster. They did need some help at linebacker. I look at the Chiefs, and as good as Patrick Mahomes is, and he's that dude, they needed to go out and get a wide receiver, a legit wide receiver. They have, I would say they have a bunch of 2s, but I think they have a bunch of 3s.
Yeah.
And Sky Moore might be a 4 or 5. They keep waiting on him. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So I thought they would pursue that.
All right, so Donte in the comments says the Chargers. Old man, we all know old man's a Patriots fan. Patriots didn't invited nobody. That possibly could be some losers. But who was the winner of this trade? Also, Josh Dobbs goes to Minnesota. No, Minnesota's not too sold on Jaron Hall yet. So they get Josh Dobbs because of Kyler Murray's coming back, and also Donovan Peoples-Jones went to Detroit because of the situation with Marvin Jones. They did release him. So, some good pickups. He gets to play somewhere else. Kadavius Street, he goes to Atlanta. It's not a really big deal for the Eagles. He gets more playing time. I said who. I didn't even know what was on the team. Didn't know if he played. So I wasn't necessarily concerned about Kadavius Street getting picked up for, going to Atlanta. We just got more picks. But who won in the trade deadline? I'm going to start with you.
I mean, it's a big move for the Niners, but so I'm not going to say they won. It potentially can be a season turnaround kind of move, but you have to see it on the field, right? You have to see what they look like when they're on the field. Some teams didn't need to make the moves. Look, I know you both are Eagles fans, but the Eagles are loaded. What do you need to add to the Eagles that you don't already have on both sides of the football other than health, right? So I was disappointed that Dallas, Kansas City wasn't more aggressive. I would say that Seattle made a really big move, and I think Seattle is a threat to win that division.
Donte.
I'll say most stole my pick. I was gonna say Seattle with Leonard Williams, getting him on the defensive line, and the way you got Devin Weatherspoon out there balling, catching interceptions, hitting everybody. Just he almost I forgot who he hit from the Cleveland Browns, but he almost turned that dude inside out, bro. The way he hit him, almost turned a front flip the way he hit him. But he's been balling that secondary with him and Tyree Willett, and add Leonard Williams some beef up front. Yeah, I think I would give them the nod. The Eagles, we can't say much about the Eagles because Howard Roseman should be arrested. He should be arrested for what he done. Getting Kevin Byard, I'm a big fan of Kevin Byard. Getting him to go along with that safety group. Now you got the defensive line and stack. Yeah, there ain't too much to say. We can easily say that, but I think the Seattle Seahawks getting Leonard Williams from the Giants, I think that will plug in a big gap right there, and they will have an opportunity for to win that division the way San Francisco playing right now. I think they're on course. They're on a collision course with each other.
Cool.
I'm gonna go with the Minnesota Vikings to pull off the Josh Dobbs trade to get a guy that goes out there and plays hard. May not have the same natural talent as Kirk Cousins does, but he plays hard. He took a team of nobody's miscreants, right? And they didn't win a lot of games, but they were in games because of a lot of what he was doing. So I like that move. And I like the fact that you're able to get someone who can step in and who can be the quarterback for the rest of the season. He's not a guy that you need to worry about. Yeah, after the season, you're just working on finishing this season, seeing what you can make happen with him, and see if maybe, this may be his on-the-job interview, because I don't know if they bring back Kirk Cousins. So maybe this is Josh Dobbs' on-job interview. And when you got Jay Jett on one side, Jordan Addison on the other side, TJ Hawkinson run up the middle, you're gonna look a lot better than what you did in Arizona with that miscreant pack of wide receivers. And Zach Ertz upset that he's still there. So I think that was a great move short term. Now there were rumors that they were also pushing heavy to get 30 for 30 himself, Mr. Jameis Winston, but they ended up making this move instead. And then you only gave up a 6th-round pick for Dobbs in the 7th. Like that's a great move if you're Minnesota. You know what I'm saying? So I love it.
Yeah, most definitely, because they wasn't quite sold on what Jaren Hall can do just yet. The rookie from BYU. So, Josh Dobbs, the journeyman. But, he played pretty well in those games that they lost in Arizona. But one thing they competed. So, this might be, a fresh start for Josh Dobbs. But does Jefferson come back off his injury? Does he not just say, I don't want to play the rest of the season? Do you think him and Josh Dobbs possibly can have some chemistry? Because Minnesota right now is at 4-4, and that's possible they can be in the mix for a wild card or a playoff hunt. Do you think that's still possible? Cool.
Yeah, I would say it is, because you got to remember, right now Jordan Addison's out there looking like Jay Jetta. I got Addison in fantasy, and I didn't want Jay Jetta to get hurt, but when he got hurt, I wasn't upset. I wasn't crying because I'm like, well, let me make sure Jordan Addison is game every week. And he's been delivering. So you've got him kind of getting comfortable, getting that season, getting that swag, the NFL swag. And then you're going to put what most people would say, arguably, what I say, the best wide receiver in the league on the other side from him. This could be what my man Bernie Mac say, trouble, trouble, trouble. For a lot of people.
Well,
I think he'll come back. They're in the thick of things. Josh Dobbs, to what Cool said, plays hard, competes hard. He's the kind of guys will rally and get behind. He doesn't have Cousins' arm talent, but he can hit those intermediate routes and he can use his legs. So I do think he comes back, and I do think they have a legit shot to compete for this division.
Yep, as long as they close, they're 4-4. I believe they won their last 3. And they're close by the time Justin Jefferson get back, they will have a good turn. That team can also be a little bit troubled. The way that Jordan Addison has played with Hawkinson right there, that could be scary for most teams to even play even in the play. If they get even in the playoff, team like the Cowboys, that would be a scary team to even play. That would, with Josh Dobbs, and he can use his legs too. His leg can be a lot of trouble as well. So it'll get him out of certain situations, certain sack situations. His ability to keep plays alive as well. Now you get a chance to fit the offense for what he can do best, as well. So I believe they will have an opportunity as long as they in the thick of things in the playoff hunt. The way they're gonna be there, the way Jordan Addison has played, that opens up the field for every other receiver, including Hawkinson, that takes that double team off him too as well.
So I'm anxious to see what Josh Dobbs can do, especially if Justin comes back. There'll definitely be he has weapons. It's not like in Arizona, like Cool said, he had, remember Toy Story, the bucket of the misfit kids, the misfit toys. That's what he had in Arizona. Moving on, staying in that division, Green Bay. The executives don't think that Jordan Love is going to be the franchise quarterback for them. What do they do with Jordan Love? Do they stick with him? Do they try to go draft the QB? Do they try to reach out, get one of free agency? Donte, what you think?
After this season, if he's even on the bench, if he's benched at some point, which I think he will end the way he's playing, he will end up that way, you get you a quarterback. Simple as that in the draft. You get you a quarterback. Simple as that. Jordan Love has been the reason why the Packers was losing most of them games. He damn sure was the reason why they lost the Raiders game. He damn sure by himself was the reason they lost the Raiders game. He's been struggling ever since, man. This dude, this dude cannot throw the ball accurate down the field. It's just he cannot throw the ball accurate down the field, and his decision making is absolutely insane. It's just really bad. So I play it out. If he's on the sideline, if you decide to bench him for Sean Clifford, see what he's got. But if you have to put Sean Clifford in now, then you go get you a quarterback in the draft. You don't even hesitate. You go get you a quarterback. That should tell you what type of quarterback Jordan Love is going to be. And you see the reason why he sat down for so long on that bench behind Aaron Rodgers. You see why it took so long for the Packers to get rid of Aaron Rodgers, because you know what? Jordan Love was not ready yet. Jordan Love was not ready yet. And I said, it's a reason why that guy is still sitting so long. The moment that Brett Favre moved on for the Packers, but you knew what you had in Aaron Rodgers. You know how good he could be. You see how fast they moved on from Brett Favre, and what happened when Aaron Rodgers came back in. He still won a Super Bowl. Yes, he got the 4 NFC straight championships, but he's an all-time great quarterback for the Green Bay Packers and a Hall of Famer. Jordan Love, how long it took that guy to sit? Long as Aaron Rodgers, way longer than Aaron Rodgers took. And that shows you what type he wasn't ready. And he's still out there. He's struggling. He's showing you he's not that guy. He's showing you that he's a backup. Yes, he may be strong, but his arm, you can have a strong arm all you want to. If you ain't accurate with that arm, hey, that's a lot of trouble. And right now he's struggling throughout I'll wait till the offseason, or if he's struggling, if he struggles this game, I will consider bringing Clifford back. I would consider making a quarterback change, and that should tell you, go get your quarterback in the draft. Go get your quarterback in the draft.
Cool.
Well, I say Jordan Love is like a lot of these quarterbacks. He's mid. He's not great. He's not terrible. If you want him to be successful, what you need to do is you're going to have to give him a better offensive line. You're going to have to get him a weapon at tight end, right? And you're going to have to get another receiver that can help. Those are the things that a guy that's mid needs to be successful. He's definitely not on the level of like Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers, and anybody who thought he was. We need to have you drug tested by the NFL like they do all the great players when they have good games. You need to go through that drug testing as well. This is a mid guy. This is an average guy. This is a guy that you decided to go draft while you still had prime Aaron Rodgers or close to prime Aaron Rodgers, which soured that relationship to the point where he's now with the Jets. Even though he's hurt, he's not in that locker room to help. He's not coming to save the day for you, even if he does come back. So the problem is he's just average. He's just okay. And you don't have the team built around him for a just okay quarterback. You got lazy. You got so used to having a great quarterback for so many years, you didn't realize, oh, we got to go build a line. Oh, we got to go make sure there's multiple quality weapons for this individual who we're going to put in the game. You thought Jordan Love was going to come in with those same guys and look like Aaron Rodgers? You played yourself.
Mo, what you think?
I don't think he's very good. I think he's very bad. I don't think he's average. I think for him to make things work, you would need an 1,800-yard back. You need a couple 1,000-yard receivers, a Pro Bowl offensive line. You need about 8 Pro Bowlers on defense, and you need Vince Lombardi. I don't think he's very good. The only thing that I can say positive about him is he does have a strong arm, but that's the only thing I can say. But he's not a good quarterback.
Dang, he said a 1,800-yard back.
I was trying to be nice, Mo. I was trying to be diplomatic, Mo.
Who tried to give us?
Oh man. Oh,
but I do feel you.
But yeah, something got to give, because back to David Bakhtiari is always hurt, so it's time for them. I think it's time for them to move on from back. Get them some receiving help. They got Christian Watson, they got Romeo Dobbs, they just got Luke Musgrave. I mean, their defense ain't that bad, but I think it's just a quarterback play. I don't know if they scoped this out and they drafted him. So not saying high, but they took a QB over a wide receiver. So
he ain't good. He ain't good. He just ain't good. There's a reason why you sit that long. If they thought you were good, they would let go of Aaron Rodgers a little bit more sooner. Just like they did Brett Favre. They didn't hesitate to let Brett Favre go to the Vikings. They saw what they had in Aaron Rodgers. They knew what they had in them, and you saw the result of that. When Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers, I know it was frustration, and he was very frustrated, which is I would have been, because you needed a receiver at that time. But you draft Jordan Love, Matter of fact, you know what's a slap in the face? You traded back in the first round. That's what made it more slappable in the face when you drafted back in the first round just to get Jordan Love, who wasn't really good at Utah State anyway, who wasn't really that good at Utah State anyway. But then you look how long you sat behind him. And when he played that game when Aaron Rodgers went out versus COVID against the Kansas City Chiefs, and then he came out and had that type of game, then you already knew what time it was going to be once Aaron Rodgers wanted to finally get up out of there. You already knew what should have been time to go. Yeah, everybody was blowing up, sold up into the hype about the preseason he had. Look at Jordan Love. Jordan Love may be quarterback one. Now you see what he is now. You saw why it's so reason why he sat behind Aaron Rodgers so long, because like just me and Mo said, he said he wasn't good. He just ain't a good quarterback.
Hold up. I got something for Jordan Love.
2-pack of ass.
So I have a nickname for Jordan Love, right? I'm gonna be real. I have a nickname for Jordan Love. I call him "Ain't No Love in the City" because they do not love him in Green Bay.
The Love boat has sunk. It didn't even start floating yet.
He said you backed Aaron Rodgers up with a garbage can. Well, hey man, y'all tell us how y'all really feel about Jordan Love.
Yeah.
Mr. Ain't No Love in the City. Good grief. Y'all ain't playing no games with that man.
Stacked him up with a trash can. All right. Well, I know we got to talk about your Niners. You know, they lost 3 games in a row. I called an upset between Cincinnati. I had a feeling that Cincinnati was going to bounce back. But are y'all in trouble?
I think they're staggering. If you're talking about big picture, will they turn it around and still make the playoffs? Yes, I think they'll make the playoffs. The question is, are they going to go into the playoffs still a title contender? And the key really is, it comes back to, and we all know it, you're going to have to get Purdy back to being what he was. What made Purdy great, he didn't turn the ball over. He took care of the football. The last couple of games, Brock Purdy's thrown the ball 40 times and 53 times. That is not a formula for success. If we are playing football well, if the Niners are playing football well, then he's throwing the ball about 20 to 25 times a game for anywhere between 210, 250 yards. That's Brock Purdy's zone. And probably the key is getting back to McCaffrey, getting back to the run game, and the defense hunting and getting back after people. But more importantly, they're going to have Brock Purdy take care of the football. Last 3 games, 5 picks and a couple of lost fumbles. You have to take care of the football.
Poor old man. He just lobbying for everybody to take.
Quarterback, maybe a quarterback. Just
I thought it was just me noticing he wants Mac Jones on everybody's team.
Everybody but his. You know what that means? That means old man no football, because he understands that Mac Jones is whacking cheese, like I called him before week 1. I told you, whacking cheese.
He is, but he's still better than Jordan Love. He better.
Jordan Love. Cool. Your thoughts on the Niners?
Oh my goodness. So hey man, the Niners are going to be fine, right? Mo put it best. They're going to make the playoffs. I'm anticipating them bouncing back. At the end of the day, it's 3 losses. Everybody's like, oh, Lions lost 3 games in a row. It's still only 3 losses. They still play us, right? So they can tack another L on us. They beat us when they play us. They still play a lot of contending teams. They still play the Seahawks again. They have a lot of games against other teams that they're able to knock some teams down to help themselves climb back up. I think if you're going to have a losing streak, you want it right before your bye so you can kind of reset on your bye and come out ready to whoop some YASS, some yass real quick. So that's where I think the 49ers are going to be. This is a team who's been habitually the last few years one of the better teams. So I expect them to continue that. It just takes a little bit of time. Sometimes things don't kind of fall together. Sometimes teams can notice nuances about a specific player, specific things that other teams haven't noticed before they get it, and they start figuring out, and other teams are able to use it as well because they build upon it. But you just you reset, you take the off week, you figure out what's going on with Purdy, why have so many turnovers, and we're gonna start talking about turnovers. I can't do it without throwing my own QB1 under the bus because Jalen turnovers is killing me, brother. That fumble, you can't fumble on the tushy pushy, man. You can't do that. You can't do that. What up, Sajin? But that's just, that's just my thoughts. They'll be fine.
Robert from the Sports and Wrestling Connection does bring up a good point. Some Niners fans is calling from Steve Wilkes to be fired. Don, so think about Steve Wilkes and his defense.
No, come on, man. Like, again, people gotta chill out. You gotta stop listening to that crap, bro. I don't buy into that. That 49ers defense still good. Like, if you're Brock Purdy, you're turning the ball over in people territory. What you want the defense to go out there and do? It's not easy to stop a short field, especially when you're going up against Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. You got to go up against Joe Mixon. How you gonna stop How you gonna stop if Brock Purdy turning the ball over in their own territory? That's for any team, really. That's for any team, really. If your quarterback turn the ball over in the defense's own territory, then what you expect the 49ers defense to do? If your quarterback turn the ball over, your defense can get a stop. Your defense gets a stop, and your quarterback turn the ball over, and now all of a sudden the defense got to get back right on the field. What you expect them to do? Yes, they're gonna break at some point. Like Mo said, get back to the running game. You got to get back to the running game. Brock Purdy got to definitely take care of the ball. I mean, again, regardless of what the play calling is, like I say, same energy I hold for Trevor Lawrence and all that. You still got to make the play. You still got to make the plays, and that's what you still got to do. So, I think Brock, you need to just get back to running physical football between the tackles, and Brock Purdy just need to be better with his selection, with his passing selection. That's all. If he can keep those turnovers at a minimum, and keep that defense and sustain long drive and keep that defense off the field, that defense will be just fine. The defense is okay. The only reason them points were scored because Brock Purdy 3 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. That's not going to get the job done. That's going to keep bringing that defense on the field. And what else you want your defense to do? You can say they're bad all you want to, but if your team cannot stop turning over the ball and your defense, I got to get back on the field and play defense again, of course they're going to break. Of course they're going to break on me. Of course I'm going to give up a touchdown, especially when it's in your own territory.
Agree.
I don't know. Jeff Mike got the comment of the day so far. He said, "Why are we comparing Love to Mac Jones? It's like comparing moldy cheese to a skunk. They both stink." But just like Donte, he does all his research. Mind you, Donte is a straight Jags fan. He does not like Trevor Lawrence. He'd rather had Gardner Minshew over T-Law. So, but Travis Etienne 7 touchdowns, T-Law 9. But exactly, we don't talk about ETN more.
if I had Devontae Smith, Jerry Jeudy, if you're Matt Jones, I'd be good too. If I had receivers that can get wide open, yeah, I'd be good too in college. I'd be good too.
At least he has a
all right.
arm.
So, which 6-2 team is the best team in the AFC? So we got a couple teams in the AFC that's 6-2. Miami Dolphins being one of them. I believe it is the Baltimore Ravens. It is the Ravens, the Miami Dolphins, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and you got the Kansas City Chiefs. Out of those 4, who's the best team right now? Well,
I mean, I always defer to the teams that have the better quarterback more times than not. So normally I would say Patrick Mahomes, but I actually think the Ravens are more balanced than the Chiefs are. I think they're more balanced than the Dolphins are. Even though the Dolphins are more explosive, I've seen the Ravens beat good teams. Miami has all the talent in the world offensively, but they can be stopped. So I'm going to have to see what they do this weekend versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Look what Patrick Mahomes is doing with just him and Travis Kelce. I think it's impressive that they're 6-2 with one legit main target, and they find a way to win football games. But I think the most balanced team of the 4, I still think is Lamar and the Ravens. Even though they need a running back, I still think they're more balanced on both sides of the football than the other 2 teams.
cool. Who you
I just
picking?
want to say, Mo, you did forget McCole Hardman.
Come on.
I can't even say it with a straight face.
Come on.
Oh man,
He got to be getting cardio too. He kind of run a lot too. I mean, he's fast.
Yeah. I couldn't even keep a straight face with that one, man. But I think we're gonna find out Sunday when Miami plays Kansas City, because the way I look at it is this: if Miami can beat Kansas City and get that win against a quote unquote really good team, then I can put Miami in that conversation.
Fair.
If not, I have to agree with Mo and I have to go with Baltimore. Jacksonville, they're sneaky 6-2, but we know it's not gonna last, right? They'll be good, but this is not gonna last. They're gonna catch a couple of L's. You look at Kansas City, the lack of diversity in weapons, right? They don't run the ball all that well. Jerick McKinnon is looking like probably the second best receiver on the team behind Travis Kelce. So that's not a formula that can work all year and make you one of the better teams. That's a formula that can get you some wins and, kind of cobble things together. But, unless they can have one of those young guys step up, and Rice has been looking kind of good lately.
I like Rice.
They can't be they can't be the top, or they can't be the second best team in the AFC. Not right now.
Coach.
I'm gonna have to go with the Ravens. I think the Dolphins are more explosive out of those teams. The fact that the Jaguars are even 6-2 with Trevor Lawrence even playing average football is just told you a lot about their defense have been really, really pretty good. Trevor Lawrence not doing too much, but you got Travis Etienne who's doing everything, but nobody talk about them. You always hear about Trevor Lawrence, how great he is, how generational he's supposed to be. Well, he on his damn third damn year, and I haven't seen not one lick of generation out of Trevor Lawrence yet. But other than that, Travis Etienne catching the ball up out of the backfield, running the football, just doing every legit thing, every small thing. And their defense been on the road. The fact that they're 6-2 with Trevor Lawrence not even playing generational at all, playing average right there, that should tell you something about Travis Etienne and that damn defense, how good that damn defense is. But now I'm gonna have to go with Baltimore. I think their defense is really good. I think their defense is actually really good. If they would have got Josh Jacobs, my goodness, you watch out for that, man. That would be like unfair. The way that guy running the football, and he runs hard. You think he gets on the Ravens and just not go crazy? Yes, he would. At this point, I would have like I said, if I was the Ravens, I would have gave up that second round pick immediately for that dude. I would have. Hey, I would have just put the paper down. I'll just put the pen and paper. I wouldn't even really hesitate. I'd give him that second round pick right then and now. But other than that, I think the Ravens are good, pretty good. I like them. I like the Ravens. And I like Zay Flowers too. Zay Flowers is nice. I like Zay Flowers.
He's a playmaker.
Jacobs would have fit Baltimore style. They're a running back team. They're a running team. They would have fit right there.
I don't know how you stop that backfield if they did give up that second round pick. I don't know how you stop that backfield.
All right, guys. Will this be the year we will see an MVP that's not a QB? We all know the MVP is always a quarterback. I think the last MVP, was it? It wasn't AP. Was it? I don't remember. But it's been so long since we have seen a quarterback that wasn't MVP. So you think we'll see somebody else besides a quarterback win MVP?
I think AJ Brown and Tyreek Hill both have legit shots. I don't know if they're going to win it, because the way this works is, yes, they're both putting up huge numbers, but that also means that their quarterbacks are putting up huge numbers. So it's really difficult. I think now both of them are actually on historic paces. A lot of people are talking about Tyreek Hill. AJ Brown is right there. They're both, they could both what would be crazy, Key, if they both went over 2,000 yards. When you do something historic, that would bolster up your shot to be MVP. I think it would take something like that for either one of them to be MVP, because the quarterback numbers, the way the game is played today, it just caters to the insane numbers that quarterbacks put up. Even the average quarterbacks are going to throw for close to or over 4,000 yards and 35 to 40 touchdowns.
Donte.
I think Tyreek Hill and AJ Brown is going to be the closest one to win it this year. So I would say, yes, this will be the year that I'm going to take a gamble. I think this is the year that the quarterbacks don't win it, and I think it either goes the way these two guys playing. I would think it will go to either AJ Brown or Tyreek Hill. The way they're on pace right now, Tyreek Hill is on pace to have a 2,000-yard season, just like he did last year, 1,800 yards. AJ Brown, the same thing. Like if they keep doing what they doing and keep playing well, I think this will be the year we'll see either one of them get the nod. And I wouldn't be upset because both of them deserve it. Both of them deserve either one. They deserve the MVP. The way they're playing.
Cool.
So I'll say this: the answer to me is no. They should, but the answer is no. Sorry, y'all. But interesting stat for AJ Brown. He's on pace to break the single season record for receiving yards and receptions by a Eagle. Guess who holds the record for receiving yards of the season?
By
AJ Brown.
Eagle?
AJ Brown. He did it last year. So if he breaks that and he breaks 2,000 yards, it's going to be hard to not give it to him. But there's a couple of people that I want y'all to think about that we keep hearing about, that it doesn't matter if they're not as great as they could be, they're still going to get it. One of those, they've been wanting to crown him for years, is Justin Herbert. They have been wanting to give Justin Herbert a mother-loving MVP since he got in this league. And this could be a great year for that. Also, Joe Burrow, they love a comeback story. Started the year hurt, had a couple of bad games. He's picking up momentum. He's looking stronger now. And I know that these two guys are playing well because I have a fantasy football league where the other participants allowed me to draft both of them in a 2-quarterback league. So guess who's number one? But I think that's the thing. There's always going to be a couple of quarterbacks that they're going to be moved to vote for, even over deserving guys. Now, are AJ Brown and Tyreek Hill, if they keep on this pace, deserving? Absolutely. Are they going to win it? I would say no.
Do you think a defensive player has a shot of winning the MVP?
I'll go Bishop Bullwinkle with Joe that one. No.
Not likely, but if I was going to pick one right now for me, I'd pick Myles Garrett.
I like that.
Yeah, because I don't think we've seen a defensive MVP. I don't think so. And somebody in the chat can check. But I don't think we've seen a defensive MVP. I know Charles Woodson wanted it. The Heisman, he was a defensive player that won the Heisman. That hasn't been done in a while. But defensive MVP would be a little interesting. I mean, I know they got the defensive player of the year, but why is that like their MVP? But why can't you say that a most valuable player in this league is somebody on defense?
That's an interesting question. Did LT win one? Did he win one? That's a good question.
I mean, that's definitely is an interesting question, something to look deeper into. Maybe that's why they added offensive player of the year, defensive player of the year, maybe just give MVP strictly to quarterbacks. But I get that they're always a quarterback, but who is catching the balls for y'all throwing, who is catching, or who is you handing the ball off to? So, I mean, I understand the quarterback is the valuable player, but you got other offensive players around y'all that can get an MVP. Adrian Peterson won it in 2012. Since then, it's been a quarterback. It's about time that we show somebody else some love. So
Key, to answer your question, there were two people. Alan Page won it as a defensive player in 1971.
Wow.
And Lawrence Taylor in 1986. That's the only two defensive MVPs.
I thought LT had one. Had one.
Page was a defensive tackle.
I was two,
and
so I
of course, Taylor was a linebacker. Yeah.
All right, cool. So, hey, hasn't been one since the 70s and 80s. Wow.
And Shadow on it too. Look at that, Shadow. Tell them, Shadow.
All right, Jeff. Appreciate y'all in the chat. Thank y'all. All right, so if you had to make a team, who would you have as your coach? Would you pick Sean McVay, or are you taking Kyle Shanahan? Mo?
Wow, that's a tough one. You know what? It's crazy, and I'm a Niners fan, but I would take McVay. I would take McVay because he's just as good as play caller, but he doesn't have the out of control ego sometimes. I think too many times Shanahan is a victim of his own success and he kind of tries to get a little too cute with his play calling when sometimes the simple thing is the right thing to do. So if I had to take a choice, I would go with McVay.
Mo said everything that needs to be said.
Yeah, no, I think I would take McVay as well. I don't know, just something about Shanahan when he gets to lead, he don't know how to keep it. Coach had to leave, but he is in the chat. I did find this out though. When Kyle Shanahan is trailing, he is 1-31. 1-31 when he's trailing games. What? That is a crazy stat to lose.
Everybody's saying
31
McVay
times.
too. Everybody's saying McVay.
Yeah. I'm with you. I feel you.
1-31. That is a crazy stat. And he's down 3 points or more going into the fourth quarter. Showing don't blow leads. Because there's no way that you're up 28-3 and you lose.
We have a 49ers fan on the show when he says he would take the other coach. That's all you really need to know. That's why I had nothing to say. Like, I have my own thoughts, but hey, that man hit it. So that's all you need to know.
0-37.
When you down 8 points, yo, that is crazy.
That is.
That's
some stats for your ass. That's what that is.
And let me see here. Last question before we get into picks and prediction of week 9. We're halfway through the season. We had week 9. Is Dallas Cowboys the threat to the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC? Mo, your thoughts?
Not even a little bit. We kind of went over this a little bit. The Niners are struggling, but here's the thing. The Cowboys, what they don't do is they're not that physical, not offensively. Now, defensively, they can get after you, but I'm talking about the other side of the football. Their offense cannot handle the speed or physicality of both the Eagles and 49ers defense. And when push comes to shove, when the Eagles are right and the Niners are right, both of them can rely on their run game. Dallas cannot do that. So, no, I do not think the Dallas Cowboys are a serious threat. I think they'll make the playoffs, and they'll get knocked out of the playoffs like they always do.
Cool. I mean, I have your thoughts, but I still want to know. I already know you're going to go with this, but I still want to know.
So here's the thing. Mo was completely 1,000%, 1,000,000%, a quintillion% correct. But on top of that, we also need to point out, to add, not to replace, but to add to what Mo said. As the season goes on, we get less and less from the Arlington football team. We're in the middle of the season. We're at that point where we're going to start to see sooner or later. Now, I'll even tell you this. They may somehow pull out a victory against the Eagles on Sunday. It's anything's possible. But I think the worst thing for them would be to win. Because if they were to win that game, then guess what happens? We them boys, we go into the Super Bowl. We the greatest team in all history of the NFL. And then the next week they'll get knocked down again. And then the next week again after that. Because they've already had their bye. So I think the problem with Dallas is their own mentality. They get in their own way. That's the main problem with them. Anything that they do positively, they're the greatest team ever. Anything negative that happens to them, they just shrug it off. So there's no awareness of the fact that we're not as good as we think we are. We need to really work on being better as a unit. They're so enthralled in, they always have to put themselves at the top. They always have to be that team or right at that team, that you can't acknowledge when you're not playing well, when you've lost, what you need to do better. The fact that you got a meddling old crazy owner who won't get out of the way. All those things that old man said at the same time I did. But those are problems. And you're not fixing those problems tomorrow. So history teaches us, history shows us that there's a choke on the way from the Arlington football team, aka the Dallas Cowboys, and it's coming. And it might start Sunday.
Yeah, and look, we're not denying how talented Dallas is, but if you're thinking big picture down the road, we're talking playoffs. The thing about playoffs is at some point it comes down to situational football. the Dallas Cowboys are not good at situational football. More importantly, their quarterback is not good at situational football. That's just a fact.
Amen.
Keep telling people, Jerry and the Cowboys. I mean, Cowboys ain't gonna do nothing till Jerry. I told you I don't wish death on nobody, but they're not gonna do anything until he goes to the upper room. That's it. That's it. That's all. That's it. That's all. Jeff said you don't live in the Metroplex like he does, which is why I stated 2 years ago the Cowboys are not going anywhere until Jones is going or on his way out. Jerry's gonna be there till they gonna bury him.
Yeah, he gonna go to the upper room from there.
he good. So like I said, it wouldn't be a shocker if they did beat us on Sunday. If we win, okay, we live to see another day, but you won't see us go, no, we going to the Super Bowl like Dallas does every single year. This is why the media talks about them so much and they're in the news so much. 49ers haven't won the Super Bowl in a long time, but they're still relevant each year. Cowboys aren't. That's the main difference. I know, Cowboys fans such as Doug, who is a beloved Dallas fan, but he keeps it real as well.
Shout out to Big Time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There are some that do.
He says the 49ers in the same drought, but they've been to the Super Bowl too. I mean, did they win? No, but they've been to the NFC Championship. Lost them too. Where have Dallas been? Y'all beat Tom Brady on his way out.
They've been catching L's. That's what Dallas been.
Good job. But who'd y'all lose to twice? 49ers. So, but there's blasphemous that Jerry didn't try to get nobody in the offseason or trade deadline. Talking about, I'm fine with my guys. All right, you're gonna be fine watching other teams from the playoffs on the couch.
I think it's their favorite position, man.
Okay.
When the last time you look at Dak and said he was the reason the Cowboys won? That is true.
I'm with you. I'm with you. Great. That's a great call.
Jeff, that's great. We never looked at the Cowboys game was like Dak's the reason. You can say he was great last week, but it wasn't because of him. Never thought about it that way. Dang, I'm gonna ask Doug that. Doug, when the last time you
record that, please? Record that, please.
But yes, the 49ers have got a little farther. I'll give them that much, and they play very physical. Exactly.
No.
Old man will not be satisfied until Mac Jones is gone.
Old man will not get Mac Jones. He gonna talk about Mac Jones. Overhyped Mac Jones.
He's a Patriots fan, so you know how he's feeling right about now. But fix the prediction of week 9 before we switch it over to NBA. We got the game on Thursday night. Got the Titans and the Steelers. Again, Will Levis was getting the start. I think Kenny Pickett's back. Mo, who you taking?
I'm gonna go with the Titans. I love Mike Tomlin, and I really do think that the Steelers are winning with smoke and mirrors, but their offense is one of the worst in football. It's one of the worst in football. They have playmakers on defense, but I'm gonna go with the young boy Levis in Tennessee. I just don't have a lot of faith in Pickens, so I'm gonna go ahead and take the Titans.
Cool.
I'm actually going to take the Steelers. I don't have a lot of faith in the young boy Levis. He had a good game, but I need to see him do it more than 1 week before I kind of believe in that, right? Because Atlanta's frustrated. They had Desmond Ridder at quarterback for half the season. That's enough to make any defense want to mutiny against the offense. So I just think that you caught Atlanta at the right time for you, the wrong time for them. But I feel more like, salute Westside Media, I just feel more like Pickett's not great, but again, I think he's at least mid. Seriously, not just being nice TV, but I think he's mid, right? He's not great, but I think he's mid. So if you've got some decent receivers over there. You got 2 guys in the backfield that can run the ball. I don't know what's going on with Najee Harris. He needs to be better than what he's been so far. But, you've got some guys that can run the ball. The defense is still solid. It's nowhere near what it has been in the past, but it's still solid. So I think they can get it done. Shadow, I wouldn't say their offense is garbage, but it's been it needs to explode, right? It needs that explosion. And maybe this is a good week for that to happen.
Their run game kills me, right? Because everybody's waiting for Najee Harris to like blow up, and it's like if you need 3 yards, he'll get 3 yards. If you need 4 yards, he'll get 3 yards. You know what I'm saying?
That's
I
exactly
hope
what it is.
I hope Najee Harris don't fall into those Alabama running backs. I'm not saying he's Trent Richardson bad,
Ooh.
but the only successful Alabama running back we've seen Derrick Henry, and for the Deuce, not Deuce, Mark Ingram.
No.
Oh man, again. He said, "I'll take Cam right now."
80-year-old Tom Brady.
That's what got me too. That's what got me. He said 80-year-old Tom Brady.
Ern, what's going on?
Man.
Ern is your Raiders fan. He definitely missed the rant from Coach Donte in the beginning, so he's definitely gonna have to go back and listen to that. But we got the NFC East matchup, the rivalry. We got the Cowboys and the Eagles. Cool. Who you got?
Hey, you can look behind me. You can look on my head. You know who I got. You know what I'm saying? But I will say, I think it's going to be a tight game. I really think that it's going to be probably like a 3 to 5 point, not even a full touchdown game. I'll be happy. Like, I had a couple of Cowboys fans message me earlier and say, what you think y'all going to do in this game? And I'm going to tell you my response to all of them was exactly the same. Hopefully be 1 point better with laughing emojis. All it needs to be 1 point better with this goal. That's all I need. It could be 15, it could be 20, it could be 30. But as long as it's 1 point better, I'm good. But I do think this is going to be a tight game. Phillies, the play calling looked better this week, but then the turnovers are still the issue, right? No interceptions, but
thank you, Don.
And if Gainwell with
I could not get the Bama running backs out.
Yeah, the best one they've had so far is Josh Jacobs, but Brian Robinson, I mean, he's looking pretty good. And then Derrick Henry. Well, yeah. You got to say Derrick. You're right, Mo. You got to say Derrick Henry. I almost take him for granted, right? But you're right. You got to say Derrick Henry. But I just think that the Eagles still have some issues. They're still working Byard into the defense. The turnovers are going to be a problem. You can't continue to turn the ball over at the rate we have and be successful. So I think we can win the game, but I think it's going to be a lot closer than it should be because I just don't trust us to have a turnover-free game yet. Especially when Nick Sirianni keeps talking about Kenneth Gainwell is the second best running back on the team. What are you smoking?
Gainwell does not gain well. I keep telling y'all that. This is going to be a good one, but I'm still riding on the Eagles. The person going to ride with the Eagles is not going to be a blowout, but will I be surprised if Dallas runs away? But just because of all the smack talking Dallas talking about, and Jerry Jones is like, oh, I'm not going to poke the bear. Dak was like, but I can. So Dak talking smack. Michael Parsons saying, oh, Dallas fans, let's flood the link. That's something you're never going to do, but okay.
Disrespectful. Disrespectful.
Definitely going to be a good Sunday game. At least they're not giving us a crappy Sunday morning game. We got the Dallas. We got the Dolphins going up against the Chiefs. Mo, who you got?
You know what? Even without the wide receivers, until Miami proves me wrong, I think I'm probably going to. That's a tough one. I want to lean with Patrick Mahomes all the time by default, right? But I think this game means more to the Dolphins. I'm going to go ahead and trust Miami's Dolphins versus Kansas City's defense, even though the Chiefs' defense has been solid. I think Miami wins this game.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree. I'm gonna go Dolphins as well. I think that explosiveness in the offense is gonna be too much for Kansas City to be able to handle. They won't put up a 70 burger on Kansas City or anything like that.
Right.
But I think they could put up 30 plus on Kansas City. If they could put up 30 plus, Kansas City is gonna struggle to match that output offensively. And I think that's where they're gonna be able to win the game.
I also picked the Dolphins to win this game. It's just, like I said, like Mo said, you can't. I'm going to bet on Mahomes every time. But it's just, I don't know. Just don't like their receiving. It's like if God forbid something happens to Travis Kelce, who are we down? Who is he throwing the ball to? He's throwing the ball to me, you, and cool.
That's true. I just think they're not built for a shootout.
I'm the one that drops the ball when it goes right in his hands. Just so
Yeah, I'm also picking Miami here. We got the Seahawks and the Ravens.
This is a good game right here. I'm going to go ahead and take the Seahawks. I think that it's going to be a tough game, but I think the Seahawks have the kind of defense that can rattle Lamar a little bit. I think they're going to get Lamar to turn the ball over a couple times. I'm going to take the Seahawks.
Man, this is like when you talk about 50-50, like this is 50-50.
It really is close.
I'm going to take Baltimore slightly. I think Lamar's the better quarterback. I do agree that they're going to rattle him, but I also think the defense is going to be able to do enough. And I think we get at least another week of Gus Edwards masquerading as a number one running back. By the way, thank you, because we got fantasy bye weeks. So thank you, Gus Edwards. Appreciate you. Great pickup from EA. But I think we got a couple more weeks of him forgetting that he's not an elite running back. So I feel like they'll be able to pull things out. That kind of not him having a lot of yards, but him getting points for getting those touchdowns when they get close and being that red zone weapon. I think that's a great role for him, right? You do have other running backs that can run as well. You do have Zay Flowers, who's playing well. He always has Mandrews. I like to call him Mark Andrews, Mandrews. As long as he's out there, that's the target he's going to hit. So I think he's got enough. But I see it being like a knockdown, drag out, very defensive game. And then just whoever can make that last play that their team's offense makes the very last offensive play, that's going to be who's winning. I'm going to slightly go Baltimore, but I wouldn't be surprised if I'm wrong.
I'm going to say Baltimore too. I think it'll be a good game, though. It's definitely going to be a good game. We'll be watching Red Zone until the Eagles come on. But I definitely think that game is going to be good. So I'm going to take Baltimore. Got the Browns in Arizona. Kyler Murray's back.
He ain't even playing, though. They're starting other dudes still.
Smart.
Who they start?
He didn't need to play.
The third.
Oh, he started Clayton too?
Yeah, because they had already benched Dobbs for him. So they knew they were going to trade Dobbs because they already had benched Dobbs for him. Yeah. Okay. Crazy.
Clayton Tune gonna get ate up by Myles Garrett. Oh boy.
Myles Garrett is going.
Yeah, I'm going with the Browns.
Charges. After this game, Myles Garrett is going to get sexual harassment charges. That's how much he's going to be on top of him.
Myles Garrett is a bad man, so I'm definitely riding with that Browns defense. I think the young quarterback will do just enough. I think the Browns win.
I don't know, OBJ. I mean, OBJ didn't do much just last week. He had 0.
OBJ
is
much
the guy.
I'm gonna say I think OBJ is done. I think he's done.
He's playing like he's done right now.
Oh man, Texans and the Bucks.
You know what? I like Stroud. And I like what DeMeco Ryans are doing out there with that team. They're young, they're struggling, but I like them versus the Bucks. You can get after Baker. I think Stroud is going to find some holes in that secondary. The Tampa Bay's front seven is actually pretty good, but I think Stroud is going to be able to push the ball down the field. I'm gonna go with DeMeco Ryans and the Texans to win that game.
I got the Texans too.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go Texans. Mo. I was on the fence earlier, but I did pick them before because I do like Stroud, and I've got plenty of receipts. I told people this is the guy to this Stroud. If you need a quarterback in this draft, you should be going after CJ Stroud. The Carolina Panthers did not listen to me, and we see what's happening with them. CJ Stroud is that guy, and I do think the defense is good enough, and it's getting better under Ryans, especially once they start to get all the pieces back on that offensive line. Man, I'm liking the Texans. I like the Texans. I think they're going to win this game.
Got the Bears and the Saints. The Saints finally pulled it together to beat the Colts last week, and I said I wasn't picking the Saints no more, so I picked the Colts, and they fooled me wrong. But who y'all got, Mo?
I got the Saints. Bears, they're just not a good football team. They went out and made some headline. I don't think they're the kind of moves that are going to impact this game. The Saints are the better team on both sides of the football. I expect the Saints to win. I don't think this is going to be a close football game.
Cool.
Ditto.
Yeah,
That's
everybody
perfectly
taking it.
said.
I think it's all across the board. We all taking the Rams here. The Vikings in Atlanta. This one was a thumper for me because what if Josh Dobbs goes in there and beats Atlanta? So I mean, I'm gonna take Minnesota.
That's interesting. I'm gonna take Minnesota too, just because you see what Addison is doing, what Hawkinson is doing. I know that Josh Dobbs is just getting there, but Atlanta's just putting in a young quarterback too. Both teams being on equal footing. I think the Vikings have better playmakers, and I think the Vikings have the better defense.
Yeah, I'm also taking Vikings. Like I said, I think the Dobbs move was a major play in free agency. I think it's going to be a big help to them. And I think they're going to be able to use their weapons. They'll be able to at least run the ball enough to give it a quick change of pace if they need it. And I think they'll be able to win this game. I think Dobbs is going to be able to move and run. We see he uses his legs. So he's going to bring a new dimension as a guy who can actually move in the pocket, a guy that can actually pick up yards on the run as well. So I think they're going to win.
Especially Minnesota doesn't have a great running game right now, so you never know. And then Taylor Heineke actually can get the ball out and actually get it to Drake London or get it to Algier or Bijan coming out the backfield or Kyle Pitts. So this might surprise us and be a serviceable game.
Yeah, it might.
Rams and the Packers. I'm already going Rams. I can see Aaron Donald now or Jordan Love.
When you said Packers, I already went with the other team.
I got the Rams too. I think Stafford puts up big numbers. I think the Rams find a way to win. That receiving core.
Stafford might play or not because he has this UCL strain in his elbow. So you got to look out for that. But either way, well, whoever's back there, I'm still taking.
I'm still taking Rams too. I'm still taking Rams. They can run the wishbone. They can run the wishbone, and I'm still taking the Rams.
You put me back there.
I ain't gonna lie. This game was tough for me. The Commanders versus the Pats.
This wasn't tough for me.
I'm taking the Commanders.
Yeah, I'm taking the Commanders too.
I got some strange feeling that the Patriots is gonna win this game. Find a way to win the game. I took New England.
I bet the old man don't think they're gonna win the game.
Old man is like,
nope. He said Commanders. I'm the lone wolf here. I'm taking New England. We got the Panthers. You got the Panthers and the Colts.
I'm going with the Colts.
I mean, you're playing the Panthers. I got to go with the Colts.
Yeah, I think Minshew does enough.
The Giants and the Raiders.
Yep, White Goodman.
Oh wow, that's another game like the Giants and the Raiders.
I think Daniel Jones comes back.
Does
Donte said pass.
Does that
True words may have never been spoken, sir. Never been spoken.
I don't know if that's supposed to sway you one way or another. Like
Aaron taking his team. You never know. Antonio Pierce, they might rally behind these guys. I did pick the Raiders though. I picked the Raiders.
I'm gonna take the Raiders as well.
I don't trust the Giants.
I'm rooting for Antonio Pierce.
I'm gonna take the Giants.
Poor Mac Jones, he just came out off an injury, might be going back. Did you see how Max Crosby took off what's the name helmet? Did you see how he was flying in the air tackling people? I'm gonna feel bad for Mac Jones. I'm gonna say Raiders. The Bills and the Bengals.
This is the game. I'm going with the Bengals. There's only one other quarterback that I feel the way I do about Patrick Mahomes. It's Joe Burrow. It's Joe Burrow. And when Joe Burrow's right and he's healthy and he's got that receiving core and they spread you out, and then you got Joe Mixon running the way he's running and the offensive line actually moving people, their defense does just enough. I'm always gonna rock with Joe Burrow, so I'll take Joe Burrow.
Cool. Who you got?
I mean, Mo makes a compelling argument. I think they're on the come up. They're hungry. They got some L's that they need to get back. And this is one that would help them out a lot. And I think they're just going to be more consistent. I always ask myself when we're talking about the Bills, which Josh Allen are we going to get? We know what Joe Burrow we're going to get when he's healthy. That's going to be a big difference in this game.
I guess I'm gonna be the lone wolf again. I'm gonna take Buffalo. I think it's gonna be a good game. I think
I
it's
do
gonna
too.
come down to that one possession. Josh Allen plays mistake-free football and not turn it over. I think we'll be all right. And the Bills got Leonard Fournette. I mean, ain't like we're gonna see him run, but they got Fournette, and then they get Douglas back there to help out the secondary. So should be interesting. And the Monday night game that nobody wants to see, I'm telling y'all right now, it's going to be the Chargers and the Jets and Brandon Staley. If you lose to the Jets, you need to be fired, Herm Edwards style, on the field. Don't go into the locker room. Don't get on the plane. Don't step nowhere near the facility. Just go. But I'm going to take the Chargers here. Chargers.
I'm going to take the Jets.
Oh,
I am not a huge fan of the Jets quarterback, but the Chargers, what they tend to do is they underwhelm, and they're the opposite. They do just enough to find a way to lose football games. The Jets defense is dominant, so I don't think they're going to be moving the ball over that Jets defense. I think their quarterback's going to be under duress for the majority of the game, and they're asking the Jets quarterback one thing: don't turn the football over. If we can win 6-0 or 9-7, they'll win that way. But I think the Jets win the football game.
Cool.
That's a bold take, sir. I respect it, but I'm gonna have to lean the other way. I think the Chargers win this game, but I agree a lot of what you said. The Chargers do find a way to blow a lot of games, but I think having Eckler back, who hasn't been great since he returned on the ground, but the combination of him catching the ball as well as on the ground has been very advantageous for them. And I think that's what's been missing and why they looked so just meh at the beginning of the season. So I think they'll be able to win this game, but I wouldn't be surprised if they found a way to blow it too. I would be surprised.
Yeah, don't leave him there. Yep. That's exactly where I'm telling you to leave Brandon Staley at. Yep. Don't even, yep. Right at the airport.
Tarmac.
Right at the tarmac. So yeah, that was your NFL. Remember just NBA? NBA is back. We've seen some teams so far. Mo's Lakers, they're winning games. Cool, defending champs, they're winning games. My Sixers, I can finally breathe now that the headache's gone. James Harden got traded. Some might say, well, this trade wasn't the best, but what offers or other buyers did you have? I think what kicked this trade into gear was, I think finally Josh Harris got from under the Commanders' butt just for a second. That's all I asked, is him to get from under their butt just for a second to deal with your team in Philadelphia. And he's seen Harden on the bench and on the sideline lollygagging around, and I think that was the final straw. He had to get rid of him. So the deal came while we were asleep, because I woke up to some fabulous news. It happened 2:30 in the morning. Daryl Morey getting it done in the midnight hour, burning early morning, and we got the job done. So, I'm happy he can go play for the Clippers. I think PJ Tucker might play against the Lakers. I'm not hearing James is going to play Monday night. So, does this make the Clippers better, adding to James Harden? Cool, I'm starting.
In one word, no. What it does do is it gives them another aging offensive player for when the other aging offensive players have to sit or are injured. So it gives them a chance to have another aging offensive player to rotate out when he's hurt and come in when he's not hurt and the other guys are hurt. I don't see the hype, and I understand who James Harden was 5 years ago, right? What Russell Westbrook was 5 years ago, what Paul George was 7 injuries ago, what Kawhi Leonard was 3 or 4 injuries ago. But we're not dealing with those individuals now. So when the Eagles signed Julio Jones, all people talk about, if this is Julio Jones when he was 29, 30, that'd be a different story. But you're getting this Julio Jones at 34. What do you think you're going to get out of him? Why are not the Clippers being asked the same questions? And I'm not saying that James Harden can't have great offensive games. I'm not saying that he can't pull out some of those vintage Harden games. He's not going to be able to do that for a whole season. He's not going to be able to do that for a half a season. He's not going to be able to do that for a fourth of a season. So what I'm saying to you is you brought in another guy to eat up a good portion of your cap. You got him away from the 76ers, who I'm sure are about to throw a parade just for that. And you brought him into your organization and you paired him up with a guy that he's played with. It didn't work before multiple times with Russell Westbrook. But you think now you're a title contender. All I can say is stop the cap.
He said he gave it half a season before Harden quit.
Hey, oh man, that's a lot right there. A whole half a season, man. You got a lot more faith than I do.
Mo, your thoughts on the whole Harden Clippers?
Look, fantasy basketball, it's probably great as long as they're on the floor. If you play NBA 2K, they're probably one of the best teams on NBA 2K, guaranteed. It's probably the only world where they all stay healthy. I'm looking at it from this point of view. You added a point guard, but he's a ball-dominant point guard, and your two best scorers, your ISO wings, they're ISO wings. How does that work when Harden comes up and he dribbles the air out of the basketball? I'm trying to see how long Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are going to be patient, waiting for James to make a decision whether he's going to attack or pass. And if you start Russ and James at the same time, I give it less than half a season before Kawhi Leonard loses his mind. I'm not saying they can't have a level of success, but the big picture is always about, can they win a title? And the answer is no, they can't win a title for the most obvious reasons. The history tells us Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, at best, you might get 55 or 60 games out of both of them. That's at best. Exactly. So knowing that this team is great on paper, but it's great on paper only, I don't think it makes the Clippers interesting. They're not title contenders.
I like that. Interesting, but I like that. Interesting. I like that.
But staying on the Sixers, Daryl Morey had his press conference today, and they was asking a bunch of questions. It was like, can we now compete for a title? Were you going to make some moves at the deadline? They got the assets now to do so. On the offseason, Tobias Harris will be off the books. You have enough money to bring in a person to offer a max and still pay Maxey. So with that being said, at the trading deadline, I know we're not here yet because the season just started, but situation in Chicago was something to look after. Would the Sixers be a particular buyer for Zach LaVine?
I hope so. They need to. Here's the thing. Maxey is elevating. Maxey is going to be a star, maybe even a superstar right now. And you know what Embiid is. What you need is a third guy that you can book for 20 points a night. A third guy. Not your main guy, but a legit third guy. Everybody wants Tobias Harris to be a third guy. The truth of the matter is Tobias Harris is a fourth guy. You can book him for 14 or 15 points a night. You can book that. But he's not a third guy. So the idea that you get those picks, as soon as they get those picks, the first thing I thought of, the picks have no value on the Joel Embiid timeline. They mean nothing to him. Who cares? He doesn't care about what happens in 2028. So the picks have no value to him. I have to assume Morey is smart enough to know you got to move those picks. You have to make a move. So to me, I would immediately try to pursue someone like a Zach LaVine. I think if you're not looking for Zach LaVine and you're looking for more balanced players, then you can look at Siakam. You can look at OG Anunoby in Toronto. Those are two guys that are upgrades that can give you defenders on defense, and they both can drop 18 to 20 tonight on offense. So I like those types of moves. I like the Sixers right now, but if you're talking about them being title contenders, Daryl Morey's got to make a move. He's got to make a real move, and it's not about just right now. You have to think about what Joel Embiid will want around him going forward. So I do think Daryl Morey tries to pull off something, and it's probably going to include Tobias Harris to make the money right.
Cool. Old man's team. Old man's a Laker fan, Mo. He trying to get rid of AD.
I'm a Laker fan too, old man. I've argued myself with that one right there. Like we're on the same page. I wonder. The only problem is I can't get rid of AD. Not unless I know who I'm getting back in return. Because the Lakers, like the Sixers, it's a different timeline, but we're on the LeBron timeline.
Cool. Your thoughts with Levine joining the Sixers?
It wouldn't be a bad move. I like the other two guys that Mo named as well. But if I were the Sixers, I would try to maneuver this into sending Tobias Harris and a draft pick to get Levine.
Yeah.
I think that would be a great way for the Sixers to instantly upgrade the offensive output, right? Also, you have other guys on the Sixers that you can put in there to play defensively. And you can get some defense out of Levine if you're putting him in the right situation as well. So, I think it would be a good move. And Anunoby would be a good move too, Sure. There's a lot of guys that would be a good move for the Sixers if they're really looking and guys are looking to trade. But yeah, Levine does strike like a when you said that, I'm like, that wouldn't be too bad over there. So yeah, I can go with that.
He gives the Sixers another 20-point scorer. Plus, he's another guy that can create off the dribble. He can get his own shot. And I don't think it's a secret that he would be going there as a third option. And look, we could do a whole show on where guys are projected to be or where they should be. I think on a title contending team, Zach LaVine is a third option.
Yeah, I think if he's competing for a title, I think he's fine with that. Because if you're telling me I can get a title, I'll be a third option. It's no problem.
Right.
Now, if you're telling me, we're gonna be on a team that's not gonna be that good, then I need to rock.
Right. Right.
Exactly. I gotta either be able to compete for a title, or I got to be able to compete to be an all-star. It's got to be one or the other. It don't have to be both, but you got to give me one or the other.
And I think that's what happens. Look, I think the Sixers are literally that player away, that guy that you can book for 20 a night away from being a title contender. I really believe that because the elevation of Maxey, because he also makes the role players better. Embiid is deferring to Maxey, and I love that. Because Embiid's your best player. That can work. You add a Zach LaVine to that mixture, the Sixers are gonna give everybody problems.
That sounds kind of sexy.
I hope so, because nobody don't want to never come to Philly. So we'll see. Hopefully, maybe James Harden's not in a situation. People do like Embiid to play with him. So let's see if maybe we can get that going.
You see where LaVine is now in Chicago? They're not winning nothing.
They already had a players only meeting in the first game.
First. You know what that also tells you? They don't like their coach.
They don't like Billy Donovan.
They don't like. A lot of people don't like Billy Donovan. They don't like their coach. That's what that tells you right off the jump. They don't like their coach.
All right, so we got the Suns and San Antonio last night. San Antonio was down 20. They ended up winning by a point. Victor Wembanyama, they took a still shot picture of Kevin Durant shooting over Vic. That was a good photo. But are the Suns in trouble? Because no Book, no Bradley Beal. How is this going to take a toll on Kevin Durant? Well,
that particular game last night, which I did watch start to finish, that has nothing to do with Bill or Booker. Like, it's not like San Antonio's got a loaded squad. They just blew a 20-point lead, and Kevin Durant's at fault. He's at fault. You're a veteran, man. What did they teach you in high school? You don't catch the ball in the corners. You know they're going to trap you. And even if they trap you, you're a veteran. Call timeout. KD sat there, let them take the ball away, and after he took the ball away, didn't try to chase him down. He was still holding his hands out. Like, you're not going to call that? No, they're not going to call that because it wasn't a foul. San Antonio came back and outworked him. Phoenix got sloppy. Phoenix should be embarrassed for that loss. But if you're talking about big picture, if I'm a Phoenix fan, I'm concerned because all we talked about is this big three. You haven't seen sight of Bradley Beal, and now they're saying they don't know when Bradley Beal's going to play. That's not good.
Cool.
Yeah. They're not in trouble long term because you said it. No Booker, no Beal. But what we have learned is that The Slim Reaper no longer exists. That's what this game is showing. Some of that killer instinct may be gone, right? It's a little fat and happy. It's a little, I'm just going to play, and I'm Kevin Durant, I'm KD. They'll give me the calls, and then you don't get the calls, and you look like another guy when he don't get the calls. Hands always up, looking around, crying for a call. Play ball, man. Play ball. I watched a lot of that game. I didn't get to see all of it, but I did watch a lot of that game. And what I will say is during that comeback, you saw a young, hungry team that just said, hey, we're just going to go ahead and play. And you saw a quote unquote veteran team kind of just shut down and say, we're just going to try to take as much of the shot clock as we can and then throw something up.
Right. They tried not to lose.
Right. And you can't play not to lose. You have to play to win. I say this all the time about every sport. When you get somebody down, you put your foot on their throat and you keep pressing. What these teams do now is they get you down and then they take their foot off your throat. And then when you spin them over and put them in an ankle lock and snap their ankle, they're wondering how that happened. It's because you didn't keep that foot on their throat. You gotta be closers. There's not a lot of true closers. There's not a lot of true guys with a closing mentality in the NBA at this point. And that's why there's a lot of parity, because teams have these really great players, but they don't come out night in and night out and say, you're not going to beat me. San Antonio, I mean, I ain't going to win every game, but ain't no doggone way, ain't no cotton picking way I'm going to lose a game in San Antonio and I'm freaking Kevin Durant. See, you don't have that dog, that pride, that ability to just, I'm going to put my foot there and leave it. And until some of these guys rediscover that, we're going to see these things happen all the time.
I just want to put this out here. I've been saying this for the last couple of years. He's still a star. He's still a special talent. If KD's still a top 10 player, he must be like number 10. He's not, I'm just being real. He's not that dude. He's not that dude. And look, when they're all healthy, I'm keeping it 100. The best player on that team right now is Booker.
Yep.
Booker is their best player.
Mm-hmm.
I look, the man's 35 years old. Great player, but Father Time waits for no man. It's going to catch up to everybody. KD's not as quick as he used to be, not as athletic, and Koo pointed out something. It's also a mental thing. He seems almost like he's content in his career, and I don't see that dog or that hunger in him that you saw a few years back. I'm just saying, this isn't me saying he's not still great, because if you say that he was way up here, his descent is like this. He's still one of the best, but I don't think he cast that fear into people that he once did before.
I can't disagree with that. I completely agree with that.
You got some breaking news coming in. Legendary Indiana coach Bobby Knight
I just saw that
passed
too.
away
Wow.
at 83. I know Bobby Knight used to have a fit over there on the sideline, but definitely legendary over there with the Hoosiers, Hoop Dreams movie and all that. So thoughts and prayers to the Knight family.
Mm-hmm.
How impressed are y'all with Victor Wembanyama so far?
I mean, he's doing what I expected him to do, right? Like, we're gonna see how the season, the wear and tear of a full NBA season goes on that slight frame. Getting banged down low by some of these guys, getting hand checked, getting these guys getting more physical as the season goes on. We're gonna see how he holds up. But so far, I mean, he's been what I expected him to be, right? I mean, he hasn't went out there and dominated, but you can see that he has the potential. And that's what you were looking for with the number 1 overall pick. You want a guy that gives you a chance to be, if not like a superstar, at least a consistent all-star level player. And so far, he looks like he can be that.
I think that he's lived up to the hype to a degree. I'm with Cool. I expected him to put up a low double-double. I thought he was going to average around 16 or 18 points a game, maybe 10 or 11 rebounds. I think his defense is going to be way ahead of his offense, because he's a big man, but he doesn't move like a big man on defense. He's agile. He can cover a lot of ground, and when he fully extends his body, he gets shots that nobody has any rights to be able to block. So I think the defense will be there. The offense will come over time. I don't want to use words like dominant or transcendent, because people throw that out there too fast. I'm with Cool. I see the potential for dominance and transcendent, but I'm not as impressed as say Reggie Miller and Craig Sager are, but I mean, not Craig Sager, but Kevin Harlan are. But I can see the potential. I can see the potential. But Let's let the man have a career. Let's let him get through one season. Like Cool said, what happens when you get through that 82-game season and people start throwing some weight around on that skinny, that small frame? It'll be interesting because he's never had to go through the rigor of an NBA season or go on a long road trip. So let's see how he holds up over the course of a season before we try to anoint him the next best thing.
Yeah, because he definitely did say he wanted to try to play all 82 games. Same thing I said with Chet, about the slender frame. What you gonna do when you go up against a Joker or a Giannis or an Embiid? Those guys that's going to bully ball you. Where do you can't guard that. No matter you 7'3", you 7'3", but you a skinny 7'3". That's like Shaq going up against Mutombo in the NBA finals. And
right.
Shaq was bodying Mutombo. What are you going to do?
Listen, man.
You can't defend that.
That was criminal.
When he has to play against the Milwaukee Bucks, they better get that man a DNP. Do not put him on that court against Giannis. Okay? Because he ain't learned yet to get out of Giannis' way. Right? You have players, you go back, I was watching one of the Bucks games last year, and they were talking, and then it was like two players, and one of them was mic'd up, and he didn't know the other guy didn't know he was mic'd up. So he was like, oh, they're talking about getting Giannis' way. And the one dude said, he said, I'll take it. I don't want to, but I'll take it. The other guy said, shoot, I'm getting out of that dude. Wait, you see him coming in there like a tractor trailer? The dude said, I'm mic'd up. He said, but, I would want to, but I'll go ahead and take it. You don't want to get in Giannis' way, man. That's a bulldozer with a brake line cut coming straight down the lane at you. And you got to get out of the way of that. So, yeah, that's the one. When you talk about young players in the post, the first person I think about is when you have to go up against Giannis. That's who I think about first. Because Giannis looked about like him when he came into the league.
Yes, he did.
But you can see every year a little more bulk, a little bit more bulk, a little bit more bulk getting at Giannis. If he can pull that off, I don't know. But
Giannis plays with a lot of force, man. He plays with a lot of force. If I'm Pop, I'm telling Wemby, do not try to take a charge on this guy. Just get out the way. If you don't want to lose Wemby, right, swipe at the ball, but do not stand in front of that
the ball
man.
and get out of the way.
Right. We do not want to lose you, young man. We don't want to lose you.
I'm telling all my players, look, if you are under 280 pounds, you move when he comes down that lane. And if you're 280 or above, you try to get one shoulder in there. Not your whole body. You practice just legs together, and you get one shoulder in there. Don't get your whole body. That's what I would
You know what? To his credit, Embiid does a really good job on Giannis that way.
He does.
He uses his body and his length. He does a really good job on Giannis. He anticipates when he's going to go to that Euro step.
Mm-hmm.
Embiid plays him really well.
Jokic plays him pretty solid. I mean, he'll get a couple of Jokic, but Jokic uses that frame on him.
One thing about Giannis is when he does that Euro, it's just like you travel. I'm sorry. He takes more steps. That game when he played the Philly that first game, Giannis traveled from here to Milwaukee almost every possession. I'm like, that's a travel. So, but
they give Giannis that extra step.
Slow too. It's slow.
You said extra step. They give Giannis some extra steps.
Correct. I stand corrected, sir. I stand corrected.
But yeah, he does get a little bit more in the shuffle too. I mean, he gets full long Giannis strides they be giving him.
But this next question is interesting because it goes to when y'all saw what Steph did to Dylan Brooks, and then he did the Home Alone on him.
Yeah.
So would you rather get crossed, or would you? What's scarier, getting crossed or getting dunked on?
So I really dunk on me. You can dunk on me.
The weird thing is, I'd rather get dunked on because when you get crossed, when you really get crossed, they're sending you stumbling out of the picture or to the ground. That looks so much worse. You know what? Just go ahead and dunk on me, but I don't want to get crossed.
It'd be the posterized dunk too. Yeah, no.
I'm thinking like AI, like what AI did to MJ.
Yeah,
I don't want you to do that to me.
Yeah,
dunk on me instead. Because if you dunk on me, I'm gonna try to grab you by the waist and just hold you and walk back. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to just grab you and walk away. Like I ain't gonna try to hurt you, but I'm gonna just grab you and be like, not today. And you still might get it, but I'm gonna at least show some resistance.
Right.
See, at least with a
That
dunk, you
crossover,
can try
that's
to
nothing
go
you
up
can
and
do.
block it. You can't block a cross
Nope.
because as soon as you go reaching, that reach swoop, you gonna go
Right.
that. That yeah.
And
That's
when
just
you get crossed, your teammates are looking at you like,
You are a meme for life when you get crossed. You get dunked on, it's just till the next dunk happens.
yep,
You
dudes
get
get dunked
crossed-
on all the time. Yep.
Yeah. But when you get like crossed, you on the not top 10 on ESPN, like you everywhere. You your own meme, everything. It's terrible.
like how AI did the Tyronn Lue and then walked over him afterwards.
That's still
That-
people still using it on Tyronn Lue.
That is an iconic moment.
Another
Still
reason
to this
why
day.
don't
That's
cross
just like
me
in
over.
baseball. I'd rather strike out looking. You ain't gonna catch me swinging. I'd rather strike out looking. So, but the NBA, the in-season tournament starts. They got all these funky courts.
That's right.
Are y'all a big fan, or are y'all just like whatever, or y'all just waiting to see what comes out of it?
I don't know about cool, but I'm gonna give it a chance. I'm just waiting to see what comes out of it. I'm not too high or too low. Look, I love basketball. I love the NBA. I get that they're trying to do something new and maybe bring in the casual fan. I was thinking when they did that in the moment, I was like, I don't know what it does for the hardcore fans because it doesn't move me one way or another. So I'm not impressed with it, but I'm gonna step back and see how it develops.
I could care less about it, right? Like it has the same amount of concern for me as a regular season game. It's just another one of the 82 games to me, all of these. I don't like it, but I'm not completely like, oh, this is just doo-doo trash either. It's bad, but you know, it's Cowboys. And what's up, Zach the Potato? Yeah, we did talk about it right before you hopped on about Bob Knight.
But I don't know. It's just weird. The NBA is always trying to find some type of motive. I think the winner gets what $500K a team or something like that. Where are they getting this money from?
You get some kind of trophy or something, or award too, don't they?
I think it's like 500 to the team. So I guess they got to split that up. I don't know, but
Oh, that's what it is. Okay.
I guess so. Whatever. But
I haven't really looked into it, so I just have to trust what you say because I looked at it and I just can't bear to look at whatever they talk about for more than like 2 or 3 minutes.
it's only some courts that look pretty cool. My Sixers court looked like it could be the Pelicans. I don't know. The Pacers court, they're kind of cool. Like the colors is funky. Okay, that's kind of nice, but it's just like, why gotta do all this for anyway? But couple things to go over in college, and we can go ahead and wrap things up. Now, the standings came out, the top 4. Georgia was on number 1 for all these weeks. We're in week 10 when it comes to college. Now the committee decided to put Ohio State at number 1, Georgia 2, Michigan 3, and then the FSU is still 4. Do you agree with Georgia flip-flopping the number 2 and Ohio State 1? Well,
I don't. I get what the NCAA is trying to do, but I don't. I say Georgia's number 1 until somebody beats them. It's as simple as that. So I would have left them 1. So I don't agree with what the NCAA did, but it is what it is. Look, in the end, they're going to make the playoffs. They're going to play somebody, and if you play Georgia, you're going to lose.
cool.
Yeah, I don't agree with it, but I know why they did it. The reason that they did it was because the quality of wins. Georgia's only beat 1 top 25 team. Ohio State's beat multiple. So that's why they did it. The sneaky reason that they did it, and this is what you got to look at when you look at this committee. Ohio State's number 1. Michigan's number 3. You know they're going to play. So if Michigan loses, they fall out, but you have every excuse to keep Ohio State at number 1. Oh, they beat the number 3 team.
Right.
So how can we move them up? But if Ohio State loses and they're 1, we can easily see them drop to a 4 or 5. Somebody else is probably going to fall off at some point. and they can slip right back up into that top 4. So they know what they're doing. Georgia really has a pretty clear path as long as they play the way they're supposed to play to getting there, right?
Right.
Ohio State and Michigan, they got to play each other. So they made sure both of those were above Florida State. This is very interesting how they did that.
Mo, you got a college team?
SC.
Okay. How you like how they playing right now? Like, the big Caleb guy, or
Not really. I think that I think Caleb has talent, but I think that he came with a lot of hype, and like a lot of guys that come with hype, not everybody. He's been kind of up and down this season, so I don't doubt his talent, and maybe he'll even be better at the next level. But the team itself, they've been the defense is horrible, so they just haven't been that good.
and a couple of times I thought they was going to get ranked, be out of the top 25, but they're actually 20. I mean, they're low down there.
Oh, give us some time. They're not done. They're not done.
You sound like me.
Oh yeah, you're Hurricanes.
The Miami Hurricanes are the girlfriend you have that continually cheats on you, and you continue to be the idiot to stay with them. That's who Miami Hurricanes are. They promise, they have you with this belief that they're going to be good, they're going to have a great season, and they always let you down. From week 0, I told Miami fans, relax, calm down. The U is not back. Let them prove it for a season first. We win 5 or 6 games. Oh, everywhere you go, everybody wilding. Then we come across Georgia Tech. Same thing that happens every year. See,
that Georgia Tech debacle. I just don't understand it. Why not take a knee? We will never understand why he handed off the ball.
I'm not upset because I expect these things from Miami now. I'm at the point where this is what I expect. So until they change my expectation, they can't upset me for doing what I expect them to do. And that's not a good thing. It's not a good thing.
That's facts. I don't have a college team when it comes to football. I just
You're lucky
watching it all.
You are.
But appreciate Mo and Cool coming on. Mo, where can the peoples find you?
You can find me Monday through Friday, Coffee and Sports in the Morning with Chris and Mo, 9 a.m. Sports Empire Network, and on the Northeast Streaming Network on the Roku channel. That's where I'm at.
Cool.
You can find me everywhere. The best thing I would suggest is just subscribe to youtube.com/Eagles Elite Podcast and go to playcallsportstalk.com/live. But 2 other quick places you can find me: TuneIn app or at the website wdjyfm.com or the TuneIn app. Friday mornings, 10 a.m. radio show. The other place, this is the one I like, WDRB Media on the TuneIn app or at wdrbmedia.com. Sunday mornings, Sunday at noon, the hour before you get ready to watch your morning games, Cool in the Game, you come talk sports with me. And I'm going to tell you right now, you get me all by myself with nobody to stop me, it gets a little off the hook sometimes. It does. It does. We have a good time. But hey, man, if you have an opportunity, check them out. I really appreciate it. But hey, just want to have fun, love to talk sports, trying to put it out there and, build what I want to build.
Sweet. Appreciate all of y'all in the chat as always. Sergeant Oatman is always here. Cool. East Coast Gridiron and Donte. Make sure if y'all are avid of football and college sports, make sure y'all hit up the East Coast Gridiron channel. My guy Donte, they just hit 1 million views. So make sure you go over there.
Congrats.
Yeah, that's dope, man.
I wouldn't be saying this if it wasn't true. Knowledgeable guys over there when it comes to football and college football. Some of my knowledge of college has been because I watched them. Like I said, I wasn't an avid college watcher, but just watching them and gaining stuff. Because half the time, 9 times out of 10, they're right about something, and they keep receipts of everything. So you said who about who this day? They're gonna come back with it and said, well, this is what happened. So make sure you check them out. as well. But appreciate Mo and Cool for being on 7200 Seconds. Coach Don,
Appreciate it.
to thank y'all as well, but he has to run out. Make sure y'all tune in next week. I think we'll have the con man on next week. That's going to be good.
Con man.
So make sure you're in the comments for that. Come on back. The 7200 Second Podcast. Again, find the audio version on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio. Tell Alexa, Amazon Music, 7200 Seconds. She'll pop up. Listen to us. Leave a review. Support us. We got merch. 7200 Seconds has merch. If you'd like to purchase some, it's in the link. It's in the description. You don't have to, but I appreciate you. But also, we're on the Sports Wave Network as well. Subscribe to that. Everything's in the description. Appreciate Mo. Appreciate Cool for being on. We on out of here. Love, peace, and hair grease.
Hey.
And remember, if you're going to do something dumb, if you're going to do something stupid, just make sure, it's safe. So we're going to get on out of here.
Elite. Hour and a half. Eagles Elite.
Peace out, guys.
Let's go.
Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo,
yeah.
no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them